Okay, here is the creek I'm going to be getting the rock out of. I kind of started scratching some of it up to see what it was going to be like. This is like a little crossing that they've actually kind of made, and he asked me to try to take it from the left or the east side. He's kind of got some of that, some bigger stuff it looks like piled up where they've tried to kind of keep it from, I guess, eroding out pretty good. But he said it took him quite a while to get this crossing kind of shaped up. So like I said, they just asked me to take it out to the east, so I kind of backed up there a little ways. There's a lot of rock on this. You probably can't really see, kind of on that right side of the screen, because it looks like since it kind of comes around this bend that it keeps kind of eroding into this hillside. But there is a pretty good pile of it right along in here. So I don't want to dig like just a big hole. I'm probably going to try to just skim off the top and just kind of work my way up the creek. I mean, there'll be several loads I can get out of here, and we'll try to make it kind of level across that way. But I don't want to just come in here, you know, just dig it out 6 or 8 feet deep or whatever and make a pond or just get more water where it's going to rush over there. I like to kind of keep it somewhat level, and I may even come down here when it's all said and done. I may even run the dozer in here and try to just slick it up a little bit more. But yeah, for now, we'll just pull the hydrema down in here, back it in, and I'll just kind of keep digging my way down this creek, because it's the whole length of their property. And hopefully we should be able to get all the loads that we need. I'm gonna guess 50 to 60, because that's about as much of the topsoils I took out of there. So, and I'm sure as construction goes and everything else, we'll maybe have to add a little bit more. But it's good for them because it's free rock. The part I'm not super excited about is this stuff doesn't really make like the best driveway, just because it doesn't really pack. It's just super loose. Even with these smaller fines, it's not like our base rock that'll actually kind of lock together. We may end up having to switch over to some limestone or whatever we get there a little further, just to get something to kind of lock in on the top. But for now, as long as that driveway is, we're going to try to put as much of this in as we can and just see what it's like. So yeah, let's go grab the hydrema and start dumping some rock out. My plan of attack is just going to be to like try to spread it with the truck or just shotgun it out of here, because I thought about going to the very end, turning around and just kind of dumping piles and then knocking it down with the dozer. But I think with trying to layer it in there, I don't know. We'll just try it either way. But for starters, I'm going to see kind of how it'll work just to spread, because the deal is if I do some piles, which I guess I can just back all the way. I just don't want to drive up the edges and smash them down. So I guess what I'll try to do is just kind of be running and just kind of start stringing it out. Because I mean, essentially we need to fill the whole thing up, but then that way, if I have piles, it may take a chance of running out, or I can try to dump little piles or whatever. But I feel like it'll maybe be quicker, and at least I can run up and down it, because it looks like they're getting ready to maybe mow. I don't know if they're going to try to hay. It's just all Johnson grass, so I don't know. But yeah, we will just try this again and see. I mean, I don't know how well it's actually going to work, but might as well give it a shot, huh? Yeah, it looks like some of it's still going to bounce out of here. So I got a spot up here before I go through this gate I can turn around in, and the sides aren't near as tall, but and then we can see what our handiwork looks like. Have rock run out the side. I didn't have too much, but I did have a pretty good that's the problem with this truck. It's kind of like it's slow and all of a sudden it just goes, so but that wouldn't be bad right there. I can still run over it with this, and then yeah, take the dozer or whatever, spread it out. So I'm not 100% sure. I feel like this hill needs to come down a little bit more, so I'm going to try to keep the rock 30 or 40 feet in case I have to come back here and reshape this. It's not terrible, but I don't know, it kind of goes down and goes back up, and the garage on the house is going to be on the right hand side, so somewhere right here we may end up having to put a culvert, because they said there is water that runs down this little draw right here, and we could maybe keep this hill like that and then just put a couple pipes in there and then just level it out, I think. But I got to talk with them and see what they want to do. So yeah, but for now we'll just yeah, we'll try to get a good layer of rock like that and then get in there and spread it and roll it. So well, I got a friend that lives like 3 miles down here that he stopped by today. It was his day off, and he's never ran or seen the Hydrema in person, so he's giving this is his second time around. The first time I rode with him, but now he's gonna run up there and spread a load of rock, so we'll see if we can get him for a few rounds and try to get some more of this done. But I've got the majority of the rock. It's not thick enough, but we've covered almost the end of the driveway, and I've only came this far, but this stuff's like, I don't know, every bit of 3-4 feet right there. So yeah, there is a lot of creek rock in this one little spot, but I'm gonna kind of scratch it a little bit or level it up while he's gone, and yeah, we'll get him loaded up when he gets back. this is going to be the last load I moved today. And I think I forgot to look at the truck when we started. I want to say we moved like 45 loads. Maybe this may be 46 or 47. I've done a couple. After Dylan, a friend of mine, he left like 4:30 or whatever like that. But then I jumped on the dozer and the loader and the roller and tried to level this stuff out as best I can. Creek rock is not typically the best stuff to put a driveway in, just because it moves so much and it doesn't really lock in like the limestone normally does. But I got it fairly flat, and then I rolled it, tracked it, and then I run the hydrema up and down it. I'm gonna let the homeowner kind of look at it and see. I can add a little bit more because it's pretty wavy, but the problem is trying to, like I said, like drag it or grade it. You'll catch a rock and then all of a sudden it'll pull a whole bunch. But what we could do if they want to is I can come in here now and top coat this with some 1-inch limestone and really smooth it up and make it a little easier for the like cars and trucks to drive on. Like this will work great as long as it doesn't walk in these corners for like the big concrete trucks and the lumber trucks and all that kind of stuff. But like a little car or like a pickup, I don't know if this is going to be the best stuff. I mean, it'll make a good like sub base, but I don't know if I'd want this to be my driveway all the time. So, but I want to try to kind of knock these couple loads down and get them tracked in, just to have them done. And two, I don't really want to drive my Super Duty over this not leveled out. So I can see some of these rocks getting stuck in the duals pretty easy. So I'm going to try to spread with the hydrema is not the easiest. It's kind of all or none with it, but it does work. So I mean, it's doing the job. And then probably tomorrow, I'm trying to figure out, I may end up just running the creek rock right into this kind of like chat or gravel stuff. I'm not sure about running it all the way up to this highway, just because I don't know if the state will say anything, for one, and then two, if for some reason someone kind of swerves off a little bit, that loose rock will fly out in the road, where the stuff at the very edge right now packs in really nice. So, but I got a little way. I got, 75, 50, 60, 75 feet to keep bringing this. So I don't want to work on it tomorrow. But yeah, we made a big dent in this. So a creek rock is probably every bit of 3.5, 4 feet deep back in the creek, and there's still more I can dig out. I'm just trying to keep moving down, but we really haven't got that far from the creek crossing, so there is a lot of rock down in there. But I mean, where I'm at, I've done, I don't know, 80% of the driveway. So, and this section from right here down is pretty much done. I need to do maybe a little fine tuning, but it'd be nice if I could go in there and just kind of sift out some more of the smaller sandy stuff for the top. So I'd like to put a little bit of a crown on it and get my edges tuned up just a little bit better, but like I said, this stuff's anywhere between 1 inch and 10-inch rock that comes in here, so it's kind of tough to fine tune. But it feels pretty smooth in the hydrema, but it's also got 4-foot high tires, so the real test would be like my pickup or the homeowner's car or truck to see what that's like. But I think with cutting it out and leaving the sides to kind of hold it, because normally any kind of clean rock or creek rock will usually just keep pushing, but I feel like this will kind of hold it in its banks, maybe kind of keep it in here a little bit better. So, but yeah, we will jump probably just in the loader, because the dozers, this stuff is really rough to run over, and you get the bouncing where the loader's got a little bit more control, and then if I spill it out on the sides, I can scoop it away with the bucket and kind of move back in the road a little bit. So I'm going to slick that up and then try to get everything parked for the evening and be back at it tomorrow. I need to fuel, I think I need to fuel everything up. My dream is half a tank. So yeah, I'll probably burn up my 100-gallon tank that I brought today, so. But yeah, I'll go get the 2150 first, and then I'll come back and grab the loader and slick that stuff up.